computer. All right, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the
Ooh.
Brothers Geek Out channel. This is Fight Talk with the BMAs, and we're here to talk about some fights. I'm with my boy K West, G-Man out here in Dubai. Bro, how you doing, brother? You good?
Oh, yeah, man.
I like the beats
I'm
that you
real
got going
good.
on, the Buddhist beats thing going on here.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, man. Like, I think everybody should get one of these because this one, right? Without getting too into it, it's pretty heavy duty. You can do a lot of things with it if you need to.
Not the things that people might be thinking. You got me choking there.
You there? You
Yeah,
cut.
I got you back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody should get one. I can see you with one of them actually.
I had some. I had like Buddhist beads
Ah,
and all that sort of stuff. But the thing is, I don't wear jewelry, man. I don't wear anything. I can't even wear
yeah.
my wedding ring. My skin gets a bit irritated, and two, I just get irritated
Ah.
with it. So I don't wear any jewelry at all.
I see. I don't normally either, but sometimes it just the moment just takes you and you're just like, yes.
Yeah, that's
You know?
cool. How's
Let me just
everything
get to
going
that.
with you, bro? How's everything been?
Not much of a change since last week, to be honest. Although I did I did take some interesting substance and well that was very, very fascinating. But
You've been taking a
other
few
than that,
different
this week's been
substances recently, man, since the
I've
new
been
year.
yeah, well yeah. This one I won't name, but it was colorful. It
Okay, all
was
right,
super
cool,
colorful,
cool.
but it's only colorful when my eyes were closed. It was weird. I don't know. It was like anything you can think of that's like quite mundane and boring and normally dull.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I closed my eyes, it was colorful and explosive, and it was wow, and it was just like wow.
All right, interesting. Interesting. It sounds like colorful. I don't know. I've never taken anything, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit of weed here and there, and whatnot,
Mm.
but nothing else. So, I mean, this sounds like some sort of DMT or something, bro.
Somewhere in that family, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
all
just glad
right.
I made it out the other side. But other than that, the week has been nothing special until it got to the fights.
Oh yeah.
Starting off
Well,
with one
look,
FC from Thursday or Friday.
that's what I was gonna say. We had some good fights, man. We had the ONE FC, and
Yeah,
then we had the thing. So, should we talk about the ONE FC since that happened first? We can
yeah.
get into the ONE FC fights and then talk about the UFC because they were both big cards. I mean, the UFC was a huge card in Brazil, first pay-per-view card
Massive.
back since the new year. But the ONE FC, man, fight nights, one Friday night fights. That's what they called it, and it's like something new that they're doing, like fight nights in Thailand. Well, this was in Thailand. They done it in Lumpini
Yeah,
Stadium, which is huge for
yeah.
Muay Thai, as you know,
Iconic.
like the
Right,
stadium for Muay
right.
Thai.
There you go. I mean, I was kind of surprised that they had only done like a few MMA fights and the rest was Muay Thai. But then that was initially, and then when they explained where they were fighting at, like later on for the broadcast, I was like, ah, I see,
It makes
fair
sense.
enough. Yeah. Yeah. But they were crazy fights. Every Pretty much every fight, like that was a good call on your part. That was fascinating. Jesus,
Definitely. This is what's great about the ONE
good
FC
one.
because like when you obviously in Thailand, Muay Thai is the one, right? But because there's a lot
Yep.
of gambling involved, if you go to a couple local fights, because there's a lot of gambling
Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
sometimes, like I don't want to say it's
A bit
corrupt, but
dead.
sometimes, say for example, if someone's winning round one and two, for example, they might both
Mm,
acknowledge that, hey, I'm winning round one and two. Let's just take the third round off. So they just kind of chill the third round. They have that
mm.
understanding as respect to fighters because they know that they put in food on each other on their table. Let's not try and kill each other and ruin that and whatnot. So there's that thing. But with ONE FC, man, it's different because they push it. If you don't push the pace, you get yellow card, and if you don't fight, the refs constantly screaming
Yeah.
at you saying action. But the pace, bro,
Yeah.
that's what I love about the Muay Thai fights and the kickboxing fights. The pace they put on is crazy, man. I mean, some of the fights that went back and forth was amazing. There was one specifically that was just a war. It was the one with the British kid. Where did we find it?
Josh Hill against Kevin Soleimani.
Was that the one?
There
Yeah,
was
Josh Hill.
the
Yeah,
bald
yeah, yeah.
guy.
They went to war.
Yeah,
They went to war.
that was dirty. That
There
was
was a
dirty.
few, you know
Like
what?
that.
To be fair, there was a few wars, but yeah, like I mean, look, I'm
It
not
was
gonna lie, I'm
fire.
not familiar with all these fighters.
Me neither.
But Nong O is someone who used to train at or teach at Evolve. So I'm obviously I want to say my coach. I've done a few classes with him based on the different training that I did. So I can't say yes, he's my coach. But yeah, he taught classes in ONE FC, in Evolve. And it's that biasy, man. I was like, I gotta watch him fight, and I believe he retired, right? And then my guy,
Really?
yeah, I think so. I was just like, I don't know if he retired or he just left ONE FC. Sorry, I keep saying ONE FC. He just left Evo to go back to Thailand, right, and go back home because he was living in Singapore. So I think that might have been it. But my guy called him out. This guy from Russia, Verdi Ramazanov. You know me, I'm my reading, but he called him out in his last fight. And I know I'm starting from the main fight, but boy, that was a war in itself. And then the finish, I mean, Nong O put on the pressure, man, and the body shot finish was just beautiful, bro. I mean, he got cut and everything.
You're talking about the main fight.
So I went straight into the main fight. I mean, I'm a bit biased because that's who my guy is, man.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that fight was nasty, man. That you know what I find like very fascinating about these Thai fighters, which also reminds me of Petr Yan. The first round, they look as if they're off pace, but their computer is working. You know, you kind of see like, oh, this guy, he's got 200 fights and 29 losses. And the first like round, you're like, you sure? You know? And then all of a sudden, you just see him just like start putting it together. I mean, that was a great fight.
Once they download that timing, that pace, the reactions, it's on, and they're just aggressive. Like they're just like full on aggressive. These fights, man, they're non-stop. And then when Nong O put on the pressure, because I believe at the end of round one, Alvadi connected with something that I wouldn't say rocked Nong O, but kind of like pushed him back a little bit.
Shook him. Yeah.
And then then Nong O put on the pressure and they just finished him with the body shot. It was beautiful, bro. I was on the edge of my seat. One, because it was Nong O, and two, the fights were just good, bro. I mean, I'm glad ONE FC does this, man, where they're pushing Muay Thai fights because it needed. It's so exciting, man.
They are. I remember back when I was at Urban Kings, around the time I met you, and there was a division in there, MMA guys, Muay Thai guys, and I guess in between. And the Muay Thai guys, they were talking about, all these other these fighters I've never heard of, and they were all about them. Like I didn't really get the fascination with the Muay Thai because I wasn't spending time watching highlights and stuff. I was watching MMA. I was only like, I suppose, watching ONE FC that I realized like, oh shit, like this is definitely worth the time. So I'm glad ONE FC is kind of giving me that excuse, because if it was just watching UFC and Bellator, I'd never know, So thank you, ONE FC.
Yeah, no, awesome. And you know what? They're gonna do the same for grappling, because you got the grappling tournaments that they do, and they got title fights for grappling and whatnot. They're gonna do the same for that, which is exciting as well, man. But yeah, that was a great fight. The other ones, I mean, let's talk some other ones, man.
Other highlights? There was a few highlights, man. I feel like you said, you jumped past it, but the Josh Hill, Kevin Soleimani was a really good fight. I thought Kevin was gonna take it with his experience. He had really good head movement as well, and he was the thicker guy. So I was thinking you're gonna catch him with like boxing, because he started catching his kicks and going in, and I was like, ooh, but Josh Hill held in there. It was a really good fight, man.
Definitely, they went back and forth. Yeah, they went. Those are really good back and forth between those two.
That was a good one.
Kelvin did look maybe like more experienced in the sense of older. A little
definitely.
Bit. But Josh Hill looks like he's definitely an up and coming. It's from the UK as well, which is quite exciting.
Yeah. No, he was definitely something. But you could see the veteranship with Kevin. It's the way, he
Definitely.
moved his head, very intelligent movement, very aggressive as well when he needed to. So yeah, it was a good chess match.
100%, man. There was, who else was it? There was the fight
Um,
between, I mean, there's a lot, and I
Muang
can't
Thai,
pronounce names, man.
PK
You know,
Taichin,
so what's that?
this guy, Muang Thai, PK Taichin against Mavlud Tupiev. That was a really good fight.
I'm just trying to check,
It was the
bro.
one after Josh Hill. I think this is in a week.
Yes, yeah. That was a
That
good
was a
fight
that was
too.
a great fight. That was a
Yeah,
really good. See, he's one of the guys where like I see his record, and in the first round or two, I'm like, you sure? That's
yeah.
what? And then I thought obviously this Mavlud guy, Uzbekistan, stereotypically they're destroying everybody. So I was like, uh-oh.
But this is Muay Thai though. If it was grappling MMA,
Right,
yeah,
right, yeah. But still, I just thought to myself, like, it doesn't matter. Those guys, they're accomplishing everything. But
100%.
the
I
way
mean,
that Muay Thai,
I
huh?
agree because in the first round, I mean, Mavlud put on the pace. He was throwing Superman punches,
Yeah,
connections. Like
right.
I feel even for Muay it was hard for him to connect in the first round and get the range and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then by the second round, third round, just was able to close that distance, connect some combos. Just amazing, bro. Just again, it's exciting because how do I pull it, man? It's like they take a round to download
Yeah.
everything, and by the second round, you're just like, man, they're on it now,
Mm,
and you're seeing just beautiful, not just like evasion of strikes, but even like taking strikes and giving strikes back, and then evasion and catching
yeah.
and sweeping and clinching and elbows,
Mm,
and it's beautiful the way they pull it all together. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And he's isn't he was the elbow zombie, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
The zombie, yeah, like when he got in close and got his range and started throwing like those and those and those and those. It's like, ooh, like
They just you don't see
yeah,
that.
oh
That's the
yeah,
great yeah, that's the
yeah,
great thing again. Like this is something that you don't see in MMA and whatnot. And obviously it's a different sport and
yeah,
everything. There's different rules, there's different
yeah,
positions and whatnot. But just trying to
yeah.
elbow and coming in with elbows like that, you're
From the
just like, this
top,
is
yeah.
amazing. I mean Tyson
Mm-mm.
Harrison versus Sexan, I can't pronounce the surname, but again, another great fight. Um
Oh yeah.
all
I
the
remember
fights,
that
I
fight.
mean,
That,
I would
that, that
say
was
were
a really
just
good one.
wars, man, back and forth wars, man. It was just exciting fights, man. I mean, if you don't watch the ONE FC and you want to see great striking, just check it out, man. Pull it on. You have to give it a shot.
No, for sure. Like I made the bad decision of leaving it for at least about 4 months and missing out. But now I'm happy I'm on it. But just to go back to that Sexton fight and Tyson Harrison, that Harrison guy, he was putting it on. Like he obviously didn't do enough, but he was game. He was really, really game. Like against a really dangerous opponent. I thought I had to give him stripes for that because he was not backing down for shit. And he
Oh yeah,
he did what he could do, but yeah, Sexton, I think he just too experienced. Really good fight, man.
that was it. I mean, a lot of those Thai guys, they have the experience. I mean, they've been fighting since they
They
were
have,
6 years old or whatever, 5 years old.
yeah,
So you're gonna have that 500, well not 500, but 300 fight record and whatnot. But
scary.
just
Yeah,
awesome, man.
that's scary. Mm, that was a good one. The last one that took my eye was Richard Godoy against Alexei Punov.
Let me pull it up. Let
He
me
was a
try and get it.
Brazilian against a Russian,
Let me find it. Oh, Richard
and he
Godoy
did like the
versus. Okay, yeah. Well, that was an
the
MMA fight.
Brazilian was. It was, yeah. The Brazilian was he was flashy for a good while, and then he he kind of slowed up. But what drew me to this fight was the fact that I think they went to the ground at one point, and obviously there's no cage. So when you're
Mm,
down, if you I think if you get to the rope, like in wrestling, it's like rope break, and then they have to break. But if not, there's no way to kind of pick yourself up. So if you're stuck in the middle of the ring, you're like in deep water, and it was really interesting to see like what are they gonna do with this tactic,
that's
because
another
obviously
great
UFC.
thing about ONE FC. They do some stuff in the ring, just like in Pride days and
Yeah,
whatnot. So you can't have the
right.
advantages of using the cage and whatnot. So it's different, man. It's a different little set.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I fucking love that event, man. It was great. Thank you.
No worries. I mean, yeah, thank you to ONE FC. I mean, like, do you know what? Because I got the app and whatnot. I got the ping. And normally on Fridays, to be honest with you, I'm out for dinner and I just end up missing it. And it's just hard to catch up. But this time I was at home and I was like, boy, this is awesome, man. Just Friday, pull on the fights, chill and watch them and whatnot. So that was perfect timing and everything. But yeah, man. I mean, the great thing is as well, they broadcast it live on YouTube. You could watch it on the app for free. They have a few pay-per-views, which they done a couple last year. But generally, you just watch them live on YouTube, and it's amazing. So I recommend that, man. Do check it out on YouTube and check out the ONE FC events, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's genius marketing. The fact that we don't have to pay for it most of the time,
Yeah, and I mean that's the way they're gonna get the higher viewership, and also just to kind of spread the brand. You know what I mean? Like especially now they're in the US, and I know they got something with Amazon Prime, which I can't find on my Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's just a US thing. But anyway, watch it on
I
YouTube,
couldn't find
man.
it
You just
either.
go to YouTube.
I was unable to find it as well.
Yeah, I think YouTube is the best option. I mean, that's what I always end up just going to YouTube and it's a live stream and it's perfect. And I just love it. And I just pull it on my smart TV or whatever, boom. Or if I'm out, pull it on the phone. Easy to follow. So I think that's great. When they do have their pay-per-views, I mean, I think they're gonna do a couple more. They've done some last year. I'm sure they're gonna do more. Again, if you wait a week, they'll come out on YouTube. They push them out. But it's a great way to, again, just high-level fights, MMA fights, Muay Thai fights, grappling fights, exciting, just getting to know some of those. I think Muay Thai fighters are finally becoming the superstars they deserve to be. Because for the longest time, they were just not known, especially a lot of the Thai fighters who have dedicated their life to Muay Thai. I know Saenchai's up there, you got Brokaw, but just there's a lot more, man. So this ONE FC is just perfect for it.
And now we've got Rodtang, which is probably the most crossover name across Muay Thai currently, next to Sai Chen. I think, thanks to ONE FC, they now put Rodtang on the map, right?
Yeah, and that mixed rules fight with DJ, even though he lost it, I think that was great for him publicity-wise. Like, he took the fight, it was an exciting kind of fight, fought DJ, who's well-known in the US, and then, so that was fun. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, they definitely put a spectacle on for sure. And they got a lot of events coming up as well. They got we're not going too much into them, but the next, I think the one I'm more interested about is Michael Johnson against Moraes Free. Right?
Oh, you mean DJ?
The same guy.
Demetrius Johnson.
Sorry, DJ. Yeah. Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, against Moraes Free. I'm looking forward to that one. That's May 6th. So yeah, man.
I mean, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting stuff, man. Wait. Cool. Should we move on to UFC 283?
Quick one.
Go on, bro.
Yeah, we will. Quick one. I was gonna say, what's the name? Jesus, what's that guy? Chris Eubank Jr. He got stopped in the 4th round by Liam Smith.
Oh snap! I didn't. You know what? It's one thing I don't follow as much, and I don't know where to watch it. To be honest with you, is the boxing fights. But yeah, is that they fought and he lost 4th round?
Yeah. Like I think the 1st round he looked pretty confident. Was keeping his distance, picking his angle. This is Eubank Jr. And then I don't know, like it just obviously skipped to the fourth round because it was highlights, right? And then all of a sudden you see him doing his thing, and then the Liam Smith just put it on him, and then like he clocked him down, he knocked him down twice, basically, like uppercuts, and just gave him some like dirty boxing in close, finished him.
Oh, wicked. I mean, again, I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna say that I don't like boxing. That's not obviously true. I prefer if boxing was on and ONE FC and Muay Thai was on, I would just prefer to watch Muay Thai. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just my opinion. Like if there was a heavyweight Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder type of fight, then okay, I'll pay attention to that. But only that fight. But where it was with Muay Thai, I could watch a whole bunch of Muay Thai fighters who
You
I'm
can
not
watch a
familiar
whole
with and
bunch.
just enjoy it. So I guess it's just different preferences. I will prioritize, MMA and Muay Thai over boxing right now. That's just the way I feel right now. But it's great that you catch them because at least you can highlight them as we talk in this fight talk.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know you're not really that bothered about boxing. I'm not either, but I think because I've watched certain things before, the recommendations are there. I think
Yeah.
there's other groups of people that watch boxing, and they sent me so that they sent me the link, and that's what reminded me. Oh, and then it came up on YouTube, so I was like, okay, well, he was meant to fight Conor Ben. That's the only reason why I kind of kept it in mind. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I'm like, okay, well, you can't fight Conor Ben because he took strange substances and got suspended, whatever. Okay, well, who are you gonna fight in the meantime to keep the seat warm? And oh, you lost. Okay, you
Mm.
know.
And the thing
So
about
yeah.
boxing, and I don't know if they still do this, is like, but if you lose, like they really write you off. Whereas in UFC, MMA, you can come back within a fight, or really you're still up there. Like a Nate Diaz, he never even lost any height, right? And that type fight. Even Conor McGregor, right? So with boxing though, I
Yeah,
remember you lose, you're jeopardized. Like people forget about you and they just move on. It's kind of crazy how that happens.
yeah, it is pretty fickle. It is
Talk
pretty fickle,
about
but
boxing. I do know
yeah.
one news. So apparently, Jake Paul and Tyson Fury's brother, or should know,
Tommy
Tommy
Fury.
Fury, February
Yeah,
27th or something. This is booked.
I mean, like it was meant to happen. It's meant to happen twice over beforehand. Chael Sonnen said that he said he knew that fight wouldn't happen because I think Tommy Fury said he needed to get passport visa or whatever. And basically, I mean, Chael's a connected guy. He was like, look, if you need help getting a visa, talk to me and I can help you. Like, it's not hard. I'm connected. You probably are connected as well. And then he was just like, I don't think this fight's going to happen because if that's your issue and it's easy, given your status, it's not going to happen. And it didn't happen.
This is something weird. I mean, look, I don't know, but even for like you said, like your status, your brother's status, you're a boxer, you're
Mm,
coming in for that. It's a high level fight.
connected
How could you not get the
resources.
visa? Like me, if I tried to go to the US for business, Muslim dude, Mohammed, Gilman Ahmed, they see my passport, I gotta go through a lot of checks, but I could get in. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not get in? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Eventually, it's gonna be one of them things where you just call Habib and he sorts you out.
Brother, please help me.
Eventually, he's gonna be that guy.
Well, talk about
But yeah, we'll
Khabib.
see
I
what
was
happens.
watching, so just watching the Joe Rogan podcast with Bilal Muhammad. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's a good one. It's an interesting one. Obviously, they talk about Bilal Muhammad and his fighting career and all that sort of stuff. But then he goes into a lot of detail on his training and the
Mm,
mentality of Khabib and the squad that he
mm,
trained with in Abu Dhabi and whatnot. So it's very
mm,
interesting, man. Just the mentality of them guys is different. And I feel like I want to
mm.
say, I don't know if this is true, but the most dominating camp of all time. Like, the Gracie, like Hoist Gracie will go down as a legend and probably one of the most pound for pound best, but he's got to be a GOAT up there. But with the Gracie family, and of course, um, Hexon Gracie, fucking
Mm-hmm.
pioneer and
Hoist.
whatnot. But just at one time, like the dominance wasn't as much as this whole crew here, like this Russian Dagestani crew that's going on here. Like they're
Yeah.
all just dominating. I mean, Umar fought not too long ago, knocked his opponent out cold. You got February, we got Islam versus Volkanovski, which is going to be interesting. Just
Whew.
game and just different. Just do check out that podcast if you have a chance. It's an interesting one.
Okay, I will
Should
do.
we
Did you see Islam and Volk face off?
yeah,
Did you
Islam
see
looks
that?
huge, doesn't he? Like, well, when I say huge, looks bigger, taller, I guess. Well, he is taller.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. But it was just funny. He was just like, "How's your training going?" It's like, "Yeah, it's good. I'll see you in Thailand." Yeah. And he's like, "How's yours?" "Yeah, it's great, very good." It's like you guys are
He
not even
asked
talking
him, "Are
about
you training in Thailand or
awkward.
where?" Yeah. It's I guess this is a different way of I don't know if you could say it's trash talk. It's just like After training, I don't know, man. It's crazy because then you're gonna
it's small
say,
talk.
I just don't
It's,
see
it's
him
just
saying, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna break you. Like I'm gonna maul you." It's just, you know what? Like I don't see him saying that. Like they're too different in
no,
that sort
I
of
don't.
way.
I don't either. But it was just funny, like awkward small talk, like eyeballing. Hey, how's your training? Yeah, it's going well. It's Thailand.
It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, mate. It's
How's
not too
yours?
bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've been in an ice bath for like 2 hours. Yeah. And face the camera, please. Okay, I'm done. Bye. It's like what?
Well, that's gonna be an exciting one, man. I can't wait for that one. I'm gonna see if in Dubai if they're gonna be showing it somewhere just because Islam's fighting, and I'm sure they're gonna do like maybe like a bunch of more of the Dagestani fighters versus some Australian fighters, which would be an interesting mix in the game. I'm sure they will. I don't know the card exactly, but I'm gonna see in Dubai if they're gonna be fighting, depending on the time or when they show it. But it should be hopefully it'll be a decent time, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I was gonna say just back to Islam and Habib. It's confirmed that Habib's not gonna be by his side. I'm sure you probably heard about that too. He's not gonna be ringside for Islam.
Yeah, he's not gonna be in his corner. I mean, Islam said, "Listen, I fought many times without Khabib, and at the end of the day, when the door closes, it's me anyway."
It's me,
So
right? Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean. So it's gonna be an interesting fight, man. Because at the end of the day, it's like grappling, right? It's Islam's grappling, and if he is able to hold him down, that's a problem. It's a long night for Vogt. But
Mm,
Vogt's, he's got that speed,
yeah,
he's got that footwork, he's got that striking, and he does say that trust me, you're gonna take me down, but trust me, I'm getting back up. Like he knows he can he's very confident he can get back up, but he's admitting the fact that he's gonna get taken down. And it was on
get
this
taken
podcast
down,
with
right?
what's up?
No,
Oh,
no,
sorry,
sorry,
he
sorry.
was.
I was reaffirming what you were saying.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So he was on this podcast with Bizbik, and he was saying some of the training that he's doing is getting exhausted and then get someone to take him down and try and hold him down while he's exhausted. So he's learning the technique and the pressures of getting up while being exhausted, not fresh, not like, all right, guys, we're warmed up. That's the drill. It's like,
Mm,
I'm dead.
mm,
Like I should be resting right now, but I'm
mm,
doing those drills when I'm dead because that's when it's gonna matter. When I'm exhausted
mm,
as hell, that's when it's gonna matter
mm,
when I'm gonna have to apply technique and push through to kind of get up. So it's interesting training. Vogt's just a beast. He's got
mm,
that mentality, he's hard work mentality, and if anyone could do it, I mean, it possibly could be him. Don't get me wrong, I'm
mm.
biased. I want Islam to win. But I like Bolt's attitude, and he's always been a nice guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's never been a trash talker.
Mm,
When he talks, he's
no,
nice. He's just like, cheers, mate. You know what I mean? Well, not
it's
British, but
Aussie.
Australian version. You know what I'm saying? That Aussie
Yeah,
version, just
yeah, yeah.
no. And I've always liked him. He's never talked shit about anyone, and he's just, just put in the work. So I like him as a champion.
Yeah, no, I agree. It took me a little while to get used to him because he beat obviously the blessed one, Max Holloway, and I was a bit like, I have to kind of don't have to like this guy, but he's there and he's not going anywhere. Okay, he's not bad. He's getting better. Oh, actually, he's great. He's Alexander the Great. He's like, okay, I
Yeah.
respect what he does. I see what he's doing, and I begin to think, I actually enjoy watching him fight now. So it's just like with Chris Weidman beat Anderson, and I was okay, he's not going anywhere. Same thing. Like, I mean, he wasn't there that long, but he defended his title a couple times. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to enjoy this in a sense. And I kind of got round to him and his attitude and the way he was. So, yeah, I agree with you. It just took me a little bit longer to get used to him because he beat Max, and then I'm biased with him. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
he
no,
did
I
beat.
think Volk.
The
Huh?
thing is, he proved it and he beat Max 3 times. Like, yes, you could say one of them was close and whatnot, but he did,
Mm,
especially the last fight, he finalized it. He made the statement that I'm done
pushed
now, three
ahead.
times now.
Yeah, he definitely pushed ahead. So yeah, no. Anyway, can't wait for that fight. I don't really have a preference, but I would like to see. I really want to see if someone can dismantle, this grappling golem, which is Islam, and Volk looks like the only dude that's capable of it for now, anyway.
Well,
Let's
let's
see.
see, man. Let's see. But
Mm,
let's get into it, man. Let's
yeah,
get into the main event,
yeah,
man.
man.
Brazil UFC 283, right?
Yeah,
Glover
that's it.
Teixeira versus Jamal Hill.
Oof.
Bro, I mean, what was your thoughts? Like, I know we had this thing where we wanted Glover to win and just kind of walk off, and that'll be the best storyline
Yeah,
ever. But in a
yeah.
way, yes, he lost, but my guy went out on his shield. There was so many times where I thought he's gonna get finished, but the guy is the
Mm,
toughest dude in the world, bro.
mm,
And he
mm.
went out on his shield. Like he went out, not on his shield, he went all 5 rounds. And I still
Yeah,
felt like it was a great way for him to leave because he didn't get knocked out, he didn't get finished, he just lost on point. It looked like he was going to get finished, but he kept pushing through. And I was like, you know what? You still deserve all the stripes in the world, man. I mean, what a great way to go in a title fight in Brazil. It just, he just didn't get the win, but it wasn't as bad. And he had his moments as well. He clipped Jamal Hill a few times
mm,
as well.
mm,
But Jamal
mm-hmm.
was composed. I mean, the one thing I noticed about him was like, wow, you're very composed for a young
Mm.
guy, title
Yeah,
fight in
yeah,
Brazil, all the stakes,
definitely.
everything. And he was just very composed. I was like, this guy is calm, man. It was a great fight as well, back and forth fight. What do you think of him and
I,
as a champion? What do you think the future for him holds?
um, I overlooked him. I was one of those guys who overlooked him and didn't. I had hoped, as you said, that Glover would win and he'll just kind of go back down in pecking order. That's what I really had hoped would happen, and then maybe Glover would retire and it would he probably might get another chance. But I was just hoping that Glover would win, move on, and maybe we would get Jamal champion eventually. Um, I have to admit, like, I was really wrong about him. Like, his wrestling was very sharp. I've never seen him as a wrestler before. I've seen him knock a couple people out. And like you said, he was very composed, very smart. He respected the power of Glover. He did pretty well when he was on the ground as well. And yeah, I think he has a bright future. In short, I think yeah, provided he keeps with that progression, he's going to be a hard one to knock off. That
Definitely. I
price.
mean, I think obviously next will most probably be, what's the name? Alkalive and or Polish
And
Power.
Kalaev.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Alkalive or Polish Power. I mean, obviously they had their fight,
Ah,
which went to a draw and all that sort of stuff, but it could be either
yeah.
those two, right? Who gets the next
I,
shot?
I think so. There was a message left by Yuri. Obviously, I'm sure he's
Yui.
way off, out of um, contention. But I think he left a message saying he's coming for him or something. But I don't know. I
Yeah, I
guess
mean,
we'll find
obviously
out in this week.
his shoulder's
Who's going to
fucked, so
fight
he
next?
needs time to recover.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking in the short term, in the next
Yeah.
couple months, if they put on another fight, or the next 6 months they put on another fight,
It's gonna be
it'll be them too,
yeah,
yeah. And of course,
yeah. Or maybe they run it back. Maybe
with who?
and Kalaev and Yan.
I mean, they could do that in the meantime, and then a
Yeah.
couple months later, whoever wins that gets
Yeah.
Jamal Hill. Yuri, obviously, when he comes back, whenever he comes back, he'll get straight title shot. I think that will
Oh
make
yeah.
the most sense.
Yeah. That's respected, of course. I think
Yeah.
I think if Jamal wants to take a break, like a lot of these champions do, they get the belt and then, oh, my elbow, let me go fix it. I'm off for like 5 months, right? They do that. If that is the case with Jamal, then I think it makes sense for them to have that in Goliath fight. But if not, sorry, have a rematch. But if not, I think it's gonna have to be a toss up somehow, and then one of them's gonna have to be next, right? There's no need to
I
delay
mean,
things.
it
The
might be
champion's
Anchor Life
healthy.
because I mean, I think they might just I don't know. Let's see. They might just give it to Anchor Life, but it'll be interesting, man. I mean, like that division's exciting. I mean, John Jones has obviously gone up to heavyweight, so he's not in the picture. So we don't have to talk about that anymore. But it's just exciting. It's crazy that the
Yeah.
belt is changing so much in that division. Whereas for the longest time, it was just either John Jones or
Mhm.
DC. And now we're
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
constant change and whatnot. I mean, Glover, a
Stability.
legend. I mean, you know what got me emotional? Like he gave a
Mm.
good message and whatnot in the ring, and then he told Jamal Hill, wait for me, wait for me. And then he sent a message and he goes, guys, this is the champion. I saw how you were throwing bottles and drinks at the previous champion, and we'll talk about Moreno in a second.
Mm.
But I'm gonna walk out with him. So please respect this man as a champion, and we'll walk out. We're gonna walk out
Oh.
together. So no one throws any drinks
Oh.
and stuff like him or whatnot. I actually genuinely felt like like the goosebumps and emotional when I heard that. I'm like,
uh,
I love this dude, bro. Like Glover's just an amazing guy. Everyone, I swear, and everyone whoever speaks of him says that he's just the nicest guy in the world.
yeah,
But just
yeah.
emotional. What a great guy.
Absolutely. I was meant to say that before, but then you asked me about Jamal Hill. But I have immense respect for Glover Teixeira. I remember when I first saw him come on, and he was meant to be the monster that was going to beat John Jones. And he came and stamped his feet when he comes in, and I was like, "Oh shit, this guy is crazy," you know. And he just out here with heavy hands and stuff. And it didn't work out then. But he was always this constant, hard hitting, just composed guy, this killer. It's always there on the cusp for a long time, and I just began to respect him more and more as I see him beat these guys, beat the odds, be the oldest champion, and just stay stable, stay steady in that like top 5, heavyweight division. And then to see him, I really thought he could have won the fight. I thought there was a couple of times where I was just like, because I didn't know the results, because I did end up crashing. Did you get spoiled? Did anyone
No,
spoil the
I
results?
don't want to, bro. I left
No.
my social media phone
Okay.
at home and I left
Yeah.
it off. And I didn't even go on YouTube on this phone or anything. So yes, I done well as well, bro. I managed to stay away from the socials.
Okay. I just saw one title that said the crowd flip out for the champion, and then but it said new champion, but that could have been either of them, right? And it just showed Glover walking, so I was just like, I don't know what that means. Ah!
Yeah.
and, and then watched it, but man, Glover, what a heart, what determination, what resilience, like skill for skill. Like, I mean, he almost beat Yuri, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
not forget that. Like, I guess it shows how good Jamal is to be able to stay in the pocket 5 rounds of him, not gas out and so on. Yeah, props to Jamal, but like massive respect to Glover. He's retired, right?
That's it, man. He put his gloves in
He's
and
retired.
he's retired.
Right. Okay. Yeah, yeah. He did. I missed the very ending of all of that, but man, like, hats off. Definitely
That's
hats
off,
off, man.
100%, man. What a
Hats off.
legend. Nice guy.
Woo.
Just tough as nails.
I
And
thought he could have done it. I
yeah,
thought he
and
could have
Jamal,
done it.
yeah, I mean, there was moments when he took Jamal Hill down, and I'm like, oh my God, this could be it. And
Yeah.
I swear there was
Yeah.
one moment where he almost got the arm triangle, and I was like, that's his special move, man. Like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
knocks that boy, he wins. Um,
I, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dangerous, so dangerous. So yeah, like you said, he did get his swan song, just not with the belt, right?
That's it. And at least he won the belt, which is so great. Like at least he won it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
he had it.
yeah.
Because that's awesome as
One
well
and
to
a
be
half.
like, at least he got to he got the belt. He was the champion for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah.
End of the day, man, that was awesome. And his last fight, and we'll talk about Shogun in a bit, right? But his last fight was
Ah,
a title fight, main event in Brazil. Like that's a great way to end anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? Whereas
mm,
with
mm, mm,
Shogun,
mm,
such a legend, he was the main event of the prelims, and unfortunately he lost as well. But you see the difference of when he exited is still awesome.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to get sent off, in a home, where they you're seen as a god, um, win or lose, it's beautiful. Win or lose is beautiful.
Definitely,
So
man. Definitely.
yeah,
Well, I
man.
wish him all the best in his new ventures and whatnot, and it'll be exciting to see what happens with Jamal Hill. Let's move on to the co-main event. Another
Yes,
one
please.
that was
Yeah.
record-breaking. 4 fights. Brendan Moreno versus what have I gone blank for? I've gone blank. Hold on a second. Why have I gone blank? Freaking hell. Davison
You know what?
Figueroa
Brendan
versus
Moreno.
Brendan Moreno.
They, yeah.
My brain sometimes, bro. I need some nootropics to get my brain memories going. But man, look, Moreno, just again, another lovely guy, like just
Yeah.
heart of gold. And this was the 4th fight that they, I swear, Figueroa hasn't fought anyone since Moreno for like 4 years or something like that. And
Yeah.
the belt going back and forth between them, draw, lose, win, and whatnot. And then he finished it, man. End of the day, he clipped him with a left hook, which he thought Figueroa was initially saying it was a poke, but it was a knuckle, cut him, fucked up his eye. he won the fight, man, and Moreno, and he's such I don't know, he just seems like such a cool guy. I know he's a comic book, well, he's a pop and Lego collector and whatnot. So he falls into the realm of what I'm into and shit. But he's just a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
man. Love,
yeah.
you can't not like that guy. He just seems such a cool, lovely dude. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, like I was so disappointed that they decided to pelt him the bottles, man. I thought that was really sad because, like you said, he never says anything wrong. He does his thing for the podcast for the Spanish community, and he just like full of energy and just really good disciplined martial artist. Like, why would you do that? I disappointed, disappointed with that. But anyway, the fight was incredible. The finish was amazing.
That's it. I mean, I
It was
love
definitive.
they scramble, man. When they scramble, bro, they like when they
What?
get to the ground and they wrestle. The scrambling that goes on between them is amazing. But I do think Moreno had a great game plan. I mean, you fought this guy 3 times before. You've
Yeah,
had different strategies each time. This time you went more for a wrestling. I feel like a more of a wrestling approach, and I'm just
yeah,
like, I just feel like you're smart in the sense of like, well, we fought him 4 times before. We got to change things a little bit. Let's go with the
yeah,
wrestling. And he beat him last time submission wise, right? The time that he did beat him, it was
yeah,
a submission. And I
yep,
just thought that was just a great game plan of just let's change it up. Like so because we don't want him to think he's fighting the same guy. We want to show him that I'm different. So let's go in with the wrestling. And I thought that was a great game plan, man. Just awesome.
yeah. No, I agree. I thought it was smart that he went that way, and we can basically see out of the two guys who has advanced, who has changed, who has improved, who's added more to their game, and it's Brandon Moreno all day. Like Davison Figueredo looks the same pretty much to me. So yeah, it's about evolution. Simple.
That's it, man. I mean, Davison Figueredo did say that he's done with that weight class and he's going up to bantamweight. I mean, bro, he made
Yeah,
the weight. He looked ripped. Did you see him? He looked like a superhero. Every muscle, everything was showing. He looked
yeah,
ripped.
yeah,
But he said, I don't want to make this weight no more. And he decided that he's going to go, which I think will be good. And it'd be exciting to see him up
yeah.
there in bantamweight and
Fresh,
just see what he can do.
fresh.
And it
Yeah,
just opens up the flyweight division again, like with Moreno and the guys out there. So
yeah,
that's going to be exciting. I mean, like, and he can move on as well. Moreno can move on and be champ. That he deserves to
yeah.
be champ. And yeah, man,
Right.
I think it's definitely a great future for them both.
Definitely new narrative for both of them, and yeah, that's it. I'm happy that Davis and Figueredo, win or lose, he was gonna decide to move up. So
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting as well that finally it must be exhausting just fighting the same guy and thinking about the same
same
guy
guy.
and
Yeah,
training for the same guy. It's just like I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like it could be exhausting. But 4 times, it's pretty cool. It's like record breaking again.
record breaking. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it's done. And hopefully, we may or may not see one of these things again. But I'm glad that it came to a conclusion all the same. What a fight.
Sit, man. All right, let's move into the next one, man. Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. Now I feel like
Oh,
this was a great fight, but Gilbert
oh,
Burns, man, my guy's on fire, and he went back to his base. My guy went back to his base of jiu-jitsu, which he knows, and he's known for one of the highest level grapplers, jiu-jitsu practitioners in
yeah.
UFC, and he just went back to his base. Beautiful.
Yeah, I forgot that he
It was
was
an
that
arm
guy on the
triangle. Was
ground.
it arm triangle?
It was yeah. Was it in the neck and arm? Didn't he get neck and arm?
Yeah, arm triangle, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right up against the cage.
It was a
Right up against the
great
cage.
patient finish, man, and his wrestling was good. And Neil Magny's he's got the record of most wins in welterweight division, I believe, right? I mean, the guy's
I think
breaking records
yeah.
still.
I think so. Yeah, he's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? Like, I don't think he's gonna get to the top five, Neil Magny, but he's a reaper in top 10 at least. He can clean up, but I don't think he's quite there to challenge for the belt. Do you, Magny? One of
No,
these
not
days.
challenge. I mean, he's still got some
Yeah,
time. I mean, there's footage of him and comes up like training together. I thought them to look
training.
at the fight, but looks like they got They got some training in together and whatnot.
Buddy, that.
You know, but I don't know. Maybe you never know in the future. You know, some of these guys, man, because Neil Magny is just a beast, bro. I mean, he's gone through and fought a lot. He's got records. I guess when it comes to that top higher echelon, I mean, look, he lost before to what's his name, man? Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's exciting in that
damn.
Division 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah.
So, you know, but Gilbert Burns, man, I mean, he's high level, man. I mean, he's one of the best in the world, obviously. And then when he's the one of the best in the world, and then applying his base, what he's best at, I mean, that shit's scary, man. That shit is scary.
You know, you just reminded me that over the years, right, you see all these like high level Brazilian strikers, and pretty much more often than not, they have a black belt in jiu-jitsu. But they discard all of that for for striking. Have you noticed that? Like all of these guys, Anderson Silva, Vanderlei, probably Leo Machida, probably Shogun, who are black belt or at least high level when it comes to jiu-jitsu, and they just leave it all behind. But if they do what Gilbert Burns does and keep that narrative like Khabib or Islam, where they always use their base, and everything else is kind of just like, okay, I can convince that I'm good at standing, but bread and butter, I'm gonna take you down and I'm gonna squeeze you out.
That's it.
And then keep it with that narrative and don't get caught up in other people's like game plans of like with like I don't know if it would have worked that way, but with Shemaya's, right? And Gilbert, they kind of got into this stack and forth for the striking and no one went for takedowns, right? But if you play your game sometimes, and don't get caught up in the other person's, then sometimes you can get the edge.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens a lot, though, isn't it? That's what happens a lot, where two high-level wrestlers, high-level jiu-jitsu grapplers in general, just end up having a kickboxing fight because they just want to prove that they're striking to it. I mean, the worst thing you could do is, as a grappler, try and kickbox with a kickboxer because you want to prove a point. It's like, well, stick to your base. I mean, with you there, like Khabib and them, look, they stick to their grappling. I mean, Islam, look, he did have the best of Charles on the striking, but he wasn't afraid to go to the ground. So when he did knock him down, Gaethje, Chandler, they knocked down Charles, but they were scared to go to the floor with him, right? Because they were like, nah, I'm not going on the ground with him. Islam wasn't, he knew, like, no, I'm going to apply my grappling on you. And he won by submission. So I feel like, I mean, stick to your base, obviously work all areas, but if you know what your base is, man, work on that base and always get towards that. And only, of course, if you can't take someone down, because that happens sometimes, then you got the striking to back you up, but keep pushing for that takedown. Easier said than done, but stick to the base.
Of course. For sure. I feel like, I feel like a lot more fighters should try to do that more often. Like, obviously, you want to be mixed, right? And that's what you want to do. But I see a lot of guys discard their base a lot more so, and then they become a bit one-dimensional. And you're like, wait, hold on, like you have these other tools, but you're out here trying to do all this other stuff that you're still learning and still getting better at. Like, I don't know. I think it's nice when you see someone use like their full martial arts toolbox,
Definitely. I mean, look, and also, when you're a jiu-jitsu kind of wrestling and you punch someone and they get knocked out, you're like, holy shit, I could do this. Like, I could knock someone out. Like, there's that as well, right? So, it's interesting. I mean, again, you just get that excitement, that confidence, and you're working on it. You know what I mean? You end of the day, you can strike because you're learning how to strike, but threaten them with that base of yours. That's always going to be the key. I mean, my Kung Fu instructor, my first Kung Fu instructor who introduced me to MMA was like, man, do everything, but just have a base. No matter what, if all things go wrong, at least you can count on your base. You know what I mean? So that was a key sort of thing that he always taught me as well. And my base is always striking, but to be honest with you, I found more love I found more effectiveness in grappling, which is why I feel like I turned my base into grappling. I started prioritizing jiu-jitsu and wrestling more than I did with striking. Just because I'm a small guy and I thought of it from a self-defense perspective, I will never try to strike with a big dude out of self-defense. I'll try and run away or close the distance, put it that way. And
right. Yeah, that's smart. Like, and that's playing to your strengths. You know,
That's it.
like someone with a long reach. There's no point in them being a dirty boxer inside. It doesn't make sense.
I've been doing striking for so long, and obviously I'm not good, right? Which is why this happens. But I would just spar against, somebody who doesn't know how to train, but they're bigger and longer, and they just get the better of me. And I'm like, it's just difficult. And again, that's because of my skill set, my level and whatnot. But if it was grappling and someone new comes and they're big, I remember, just before I left Evolve, there was this dude, and he actually looked like Chris Hemsworth, like handsome bastard. Anyway, he what you call it, was just big rugby player, and yes, he was a beast. But the first couple sessions of the time we used to world, I was able to get a choke on him eventually. Once he started learning, like 3 months in, I'm like, oh, that's bastard's even harder to think, but I'm able to kind of roll with him still. But the fact is, look, size would eventually like matter, unless you're a freaking expert, whatever, whatnot. But for me, like, end of the day, if a bigger guy carries on training, still learns the techniques and understands the weight distribution, they will eventually give me a good run for my money and probably smash me, and I always get smashed. But the point is, when he first started, I was able to, even though he used a lot of strength, I was able to just kind of relax and get a submission and whatnot. Whereas if it was kickboxing, he could have just bum washed me and I would have to block and move. And the strikes hurt. When a big guy hits you, even though I could block, it's still like, it's impactful. So it was just always more difficult. But again, that's just the level of my skill set, to be honest with you. But, it matters a little bit, I think, size, which is why you have weight classes.
Definitely. I mean, at least you do spar, and I ain't done none of that stuff for, forever. So you know what it feels like. I just play video games.
Well, talk about video games, bro. I've been playing God of War, and well, that's a fucking good game. I'm not gonna go off topic here. God of War, brilliant. And just to throw out there, the Brothers Geek Out gaming channel, check it out on YouTube. We're now gaming. The gaming channel, we're streaming. I'm streaming the games. Check it out. All right, let's move on back to the fights, bro. Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade, man. What?
Oh no, that was sad.
They could have stopped that fight.
Looking forward to that. When it was announced, I just thought, oh no.
They could have stopped that fight earlier. I mean, Jessica Andrade, man, she was just on point with her timing, her speed. She just felt like, it looked like she just had everything on Lauren Murphy, like, and she just felt comfortable. When there's like, sometimes I've been sparring and there's someone I just know I got their timing and they just can't hit me, and I'm able to move and I'm able to really flow with my technique. Like, it just looked like she had everything on Lauren Murphy, and Lauren Murphy wasn't moving her head as well. And they could have easily stopped that fight, man. But she's tough as fuck, which is why she went all the way through. But yeah, they could have stopped that fight earlier.
They should have stopped that fight. Lauren Murphy needs to take some tips from Glover Teixeira, with a head movement.
Oh, I thought you meant retire. I was like, oh shit, that's
the oh right. No, I just meant in terms of head movement. For an older guy, he had really great head movement, like, I don't know. I'm guessing her base is wrestling, right?
She tried though. She couldn't get the takedown though. She tried, and Jessica Andrade just pushed her off like nothing. I mean, she got a few. I think she got a takedown or two, but Jessica Andrade popped up straight away.
I don't think it even counted. Like, I think only one of them counted because, I don't know if you heard the commentators. They were like, "Oh, she had two takedowns." They said, "Oh no, she didn't really do anything. She didn't have her down long enough, so it didn't count." But I think just generally she's a wrestler, right? She's not a stand-up fighter at all. So it was a big mixed match, big mixed match.
For sure. Big mismatch, man, big.
And they should have. I agree. They should have stopped that.
They could have. The ref could have jumped in any time, but I guess he let her go the full fight.
It was sad. It was sad, but like, props to her and her massive fucking shield that she has there, because she was not going down for anything. So like, that's tough, man.
Definitely. All right, the first fight, the first fight on the main event, Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker.
Oh,
back. I mean, I don't know if he's back, but he definitely looked good, and he had some power and finished him, man. Paul Craig is great because he's finished a few people with triangles and all that stuff. But he's got this mean mug that he likes to put on, and I'm just kind of like, very like, I don't know, not my cup of tea, but he tries to put on this mean mug, tries to like, whatever, but it's just kind of like,
Intimidating.
Why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. And then he
I,
lost.
yeah, I don't know.
Johnny Walker was able to like literally generate power with one leg off the floor and then just
That
hammer
was
him down, boy,
dope.
as he was trying to take the thing.
That
I
was,
mean, Paul Craig should have maybe adjusted and just kind of let go of the
yeah.
leg. But again, maybe he was clocked by that first punch and he just wasn't aware of what's going on. I don't know. But yeah, man, Johnny Walker, man, he was composed and got the win finally, man. It's been a while, right? Has it been a while? He lost against
I think
Jamal
he's been,
Hill.
yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the one who gave him the knockout like that. Come on. It's like, I'm champion. I won. No, I didn't. I lost. Yeah. He, I think he's had like one win, one loss. A little bit spotty, but um, I just remember when he first came on the scene and he was so exciting and so raw, and then he did his worm and then he fucked up his arm, and then he started losing, and then I saw Josh, what's his name? Is it Josh Kavanaugh?
Yeah, John
I can't
Kavanagh.
just call John Kavanaugh. I see him come and I thought to myself, hey, we could possibly have a part two of this guy. Like he might not be done. And it's really interesting to see what he's done, how he's sharpened things up, how he's more refined, and so on. But yeah, what a finish to catch that, close the distance, um, and just whale him in was pretty sharp. But with Craig, he's not he's not used to that kind of like stand up game, right? Like his Muay Thai movements is new, right? He doesn't normally do that.
Yeah, and Craig, I
He's
can't remember which fight it was, but he was
he
pulling
got a new
guard, and I
coach.
believe it was a fight where he was just pulling guard a lot because he's dangerous off his back. You know what I mean? He's caught a
Yeah,
few
I heard.
people. I believe Alkalive, he's caught him with the triangle before.
Oh wow.
And so I can't remember who
Okay.
else, but he's dangerous off his
He's
back, which is
yeah,
why he goes for the
yeah,
takedown. But you know,
right. But
it's
stand up.
I don't know if it's. I mean, I just remember I can't remember
It's
which fight
new.
it was. I'm trying to think where he was just striking and then trying to pull guard or whatnot. I can't remember who it was exactly.
Really.
But again, it's the mean mug. I just feel like the mean mug. I don't know if that puts him too much pressure. I mean, maybe that's got nothing to do with it. But Johnny Walker, man, you can't take nothing away from him. Like you said, there was a hype, and there was almost this hype that he's gonna take out John Jones and whatnot, and then it just kind of dropped, and it was just like kind of like sometimes you shouldn't I don't know, man. You can't really hype too much, right? Notice, like, okay, Conor McGregor pulled it off, right? But some of the other hype, like Paddy Pimblett, we don't know yet, right? Sage Northcutt, who got so much hype. You got who else was there, man? There was a few people that
Big
get so
Frank
much
Bat.
hype, and then it's not that they live up to the hype, but I think the hype is more than their skill set, you know.
Yeah.
And there's too much. Then you got someone like a Charles Oliveira who didn't have the hype, but one day just became the most dangerous motherfucker on the planet. You know what I mean? And the best fighter on the planet. And that's just due down to skill set and technique and heart and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, man. Johnny Walker hopefully just keeps composed, keeps doing his thing, and he could be a contender up there, maybe get that rematch with Jamal Hill.
Maybe so. I mean, I heard, um, and yeah, you're right. You got to be careful who you with. You gotta be careful. Pick your fights. No, I don't know, but like if you're gonna start barking, you need to back it up, basically. Because it is the entertainment industry. You don't A closed mouth doesn't get fed. You gotta talk, right? That's just the way it goes. But yeah, no, I remember seeing those guys all hyped like Mickey Gall and Paige Van Zandt and Sage Northcutt and so on. And the hype was real for a moment. It felt as if they could have done it. But I think, like in football, you get these players, the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, the next, and sometimes, like you said, the pressure is too much for them, and you get a great paycheck and you get sponsored. Oh, I might not train this week. I might not eat this well this day, and so on. And the psychology changes. So
For
yeah,
sure.
like you said last week, the other time about Habib versus Conor, right? Habib just has his two main things that he focuses on. Conor has a lot, and some of these fighters, they have a lot of different things going on, and you just never know how it affects their psychology and their drive and motivation to fight. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely, man. Bro, let's move on to the next legend. And it was sad to see this, but Mauricio Shogun. This was the main event of the prelims. Mauricio Shogun versus Ihor Potieria.
Right.
Shogun, I mean, a legend, bro, like proper legend, pride legend and whatnot, a UFC champion as well. It was hard to see him. I mean, listen, we've said it so many times. We both hate seeing legends go down like the way they do
Sad.
sometimes. And
Yep.
Shogun's one of those legends. He was in his prime and killing people like time ago. Like he's still young. I believe he's like, what is he? How old is this guy, man?
He's 40,
Is he 40? My thing's not loading now.
38.
But man, he was in Pride and stuff time ago, killing it. He did look a little bit. I thought like in some fights, like recently, he wasn't doing pretty too bad, but he looked a little bit slow. I feel like Ihor is just a young dude, came up, and just was able to take him out. Again, it was
He's
emotional.
41, by the way.
41. Okay. I mean, he's up there. He's up there when it comes to the age, and he's been through so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, bro, think about it, man. He's always calm as well. He's this normal, calm demeanor, no bullshit about him, and he was a vicious motherfucker. I'm glad it's his last fight because I don't want to see him get hurt anymore. I'm glad he made that decision. Again, in a way, a beautiful send-off because it was in Brazil. I mean, a Brazilian fighter retiring was in Brazil must be amazing. The Ihor guy, I have to say, when he finished him initially, I thought, and this is just my opinion and my thoughts, I thought he could have shown a little bit more respect. He started doing a celebration, and I'm just kind of like, I know you're happy and you should celebrate, so nothing against that. I just felt like you had the privilege to fight, and I believe he's a new guy. It was his first fight, I believe. You had the privilege to fight a legend in his last fight in his hometown. Like, I feel like you should have just immediately just like, all right, I won, but you know what? It's your time now because I know you're retiring. Like, forget about me, man. Let's celebrate you right now. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I mean, he won a fight in Brazil against a legend. You're fucking excited, right? So I don't blame him, but still.
I know what you mean. I didn't like that either, to be honest. But at the same time, we're not in his shoes. We don't know how he feels. But yeah, I didn't think that was cool. Put it that way. I thought it was like it almost reminded me of like MVP when he knocked out Cyborg and like had the Pokemon ball. It's like it's a bit.
Well, I mean, with that one as well,
No,
he fucked up his skull. I mean, that could have been worse. And I don't know if he knew. I mean, MVP is a showman though. I mean, again, I want to say if he knew what damage he done, I don't think he would have done that. Like he just thought I finished him, that's it. But I don't know. But it's tough, man.
Yeah, no, it was I kind of knew Shogun would lose that one. I hope that he didn't, but I kind of felt like just doesn't have. He's not Glover,
Yeah.
Glover has still got that pop where it's like he's got the old man strength, and he can still hurt guys. I feel like Shogun. Yeah, I feel like that's not there for him anymore.
Well, I'm glad he retired, man. I'm glad he retired on top.
Yep.
I mean, that's amazing. Well, when I say on top, just retired on, how do I put it? At least in Brazil, you know what I mean? He retired in Brazil, and it was a good send off him. And he I don't know. He's retired. His speech as well was just calm. It just suited him. There was no long speech. It was just like, "Thank you, obrigado." Put the gloves down, and that's it. And that's Shogun for you, man. I feel like that was him, a man of short words. How do you say it? A man of not many words.
A few words.
But
and a few words.
Man of few words. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, man. And then there was the rest of the prelims, man. I mean, I managed to watch all of them. There was a lot of KOs, a lot of finishes. The Brazilians were killing it, actually. But yeah, no, great card overall, bro, man. Very, very fun card. A lot of finishes and legends exiting the sport, new champions. It was an exciting one, man. Moves things differently to start the new year.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It is. Ah, we forgot one big one. Come
Aldo.
on.
Aldo. I was gonna say it was in my
Hey.
head, bro. It was in my head. I was gonna say finish it off with that one. Aldo, Hall of
Okay.
Famer, man, come on, another legend. They
Wow.
couple of
Wow.
legendary things happened in this one with a few Brazilian legends, man. And
Yeah.
Aldo,
Yeah.
come on, just one of the greats.
That was one hell of a send off. I didn't know that they were gonna do that. Did you?
No, I had no idea they would do
You didn't
that.
know?
No,
Okay. I had no idea. That was a shock.
I
That
was
was
emotional to see him cry after that. It was just emotional.
yeah, it was nice. 'Cause I remember some of the highlights, him still, on the beat, on the grind, still like young buck, and then watch that to get to this point where he's like an OG and he's like, kind of being inducted. It's like, wow, I've seen some of his journey, I've seen his rise, and now I've seen him kind of put the mantle down and be blessed and see and immortalized in the Hall of Fame. It's nice to see that,
The
it's
King of
amazing.
Rio, awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to love watching him fights and for those leg kicks, man. It's so crazy. Just like one technique from a master, like the leg kick. I know he stopped doing
Yeah.
them at the end, but just one technique that you just
Yeah.
excited to see someone do it. Like when you saw Aldo fight, I'm like, oh my god, man, the leg kick's coming. It's gonna be sick. Like, yeah,
Like
excited
he's
for a
coming.
leg kick.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? He was
Yeah.
so good
Because it's
at it,
different.
man. Yeah,
It's different. Like people don't throw leg kicks that much, or people don't really throw much. There's not much high kicks people in UFC throw much. So when you get them, it's like, ooh, it's a big deal, isn't it? It's a
definitely. And he's
big
one
deal.
of not one of WC days, just coming from there, just being a beast
WEC.
there. Like, some of the
Yeah.
knockouts there, the flying knees and everything. It's just like this guy is exciting and exciting and champ for such a long time. Only thing I feel I was gutted about him, they never gave him the rematch to Conor McGregor. I felt that was
Yes.
bullshit
Conor
just because,
McGregor. Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
because McGregor was so popular, they wanted to give him the champ fight and make all the money. That wasn't fair on Aldo because every other champion will
I
get a
agree.
rematch immediately, and they didn't do that for Aldo, which was bullshit. However, Aldo did mention recently, like in an interview, he was saying that me and Conor are cool. We speak now and then on DMs. I don't wish him any harm. He helped me make me a lot of money. So they're cool. I mean, which is cool, which is nice to see that. I don't know if Khabib and Conor would ever be good, but maybe not. But it's great
So
to see that they moved on, and I'm glad. I mean, Aldo was gonna get it anyway. I mean, he retired and he made that decision to retire last year, and I think maybe that was a great decision because maybe he thought, I'm not gonna get the championship belt, and just rather than taking extra damage, man, just focus on life outside of fighting. Legend, man. How many? Man, such a legendary night for the Brazilians, man.
it was something special, and I agree with you. That was pretty bad that they didn't give him that corner fight because it was well deserved. He probably deserved it out of any other champion
Who
that's
got a
ever held the
rematch?
belt because he held it for
Yeah.
so right. He held it for so long. Like I think that's like a Watergate scandal. It's just like it's mind boggling.
Businessman. End of the day, Conor, it was business. And that's it. They wanted Conor to have that champ fight. They didn't want to jeopardize that because they would have been the biggest fight at the time. And it was a big fight. I mean, so yeah, man, but the great thing is to see Aldo has made peace with all of that, and he's like, I'm
Yeah,
happy, I'm good, and
yeah,
it's lovely to see that, man. Legend.
definitely. And let's not forget he's done with UFC. Doesn't mean he's done with fighting. I think he's probably still gonna do boxing, right?
Is it? I
Or
haven't heard anything about that, to be honest.
okay, I'm thinking of something he said way back.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anything new. But I mean,
It's a
I think I saw
shame.
articles saying he's still ready to go, like he can still fight. That's what he was saying, right?
Mm.
But I didn't read it, so I don't know what he means by that. But I just put it together that he did say boxing before, and maybe that's something he's still gonna come back to. I don't know.
Well, never know, man. Anderson Silva did it. So you never know. You can never know what happens.
Mm.
But Anderson Silva's one guy's not in the UFC Hall of Fame, and I guess it's because they're a little bit of beef. Is GSP in there? Like because they've had a bit of conflict, so UFC can be a little bit stubborn in that sense and not give them their dues. But I don't think Anderson Silva is in the Hall of Fame.
No, no, he's not. He's not, and neither is GSP. It doesn't make sense.
Two of the greatest.
Because
Two of the greatest.
right, because Matt Serra is a Hall of Famer, no?
I believe
Matt
so.
Hughes,
Yeah, Matt Hughes, yeah,
Matt
I think so.
Hughes is a Hall of Famer, right?
I think it's just
BJ
because,
Penn.
yeah, you know what, I don't know off the top of my head. I think BJ Penn is,
Okay,
but I think they don't get it because of conflict, you know what I mean? Like where, when there's a
yeah,
little bit
that's
of
valid.
conflict, it's like, oh yeah, you know what, fuck them, we're not gonna give them the Hall of Fame and shit. But you can't discourage what he's done, like in the MMA world, in UFC, how exciting they were and all that sort of stuff, how great they were. Um, anyway, man.
What
It was out of
that
those
just shows
nights, and that
you,
was awesome for him. Like to get that, it must have felt amazing for him.
yeah, no, for sure. Special guy, man. I have you seen his movie? Is it Scarface?
I haven't,
No.
no, no.
Oh, okay. It's about his like rise. It came out a couple years ago. I think before he fought Connor. I think it's time to watch that.
Yeah, I'm about to check it out as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's called Scarface. Did we cover everything? Did we
I think
miss
that was all
anything?
the fights. That
The
was all the
arena.
fights that we covered. Two cards, one FC, one UFC's, a bit of
Okay.
news. Was there anything else? I don't know if there was anything else. Um,
Nothing else has been made yet.
that
Um,
might be it, man.
just that. Well, this is small things like Stipe wishes that Ngannou stayed so they can have their trilogy. You know, um, not too much to be honest. I think they're aiming to do Hamzat. No, not Hamzat. Alex Pereira against Robert Whitaker. That's potentially the next fight. Yeah. Um, Other than that, there's got nothing else, man. I can't believe that Glover was able to wear like no, I can't believe that they allowed that fight to continue with all his face chopped up like that. Like I was quite surprised that they didn't, they they didn't cut that one because obviously Figueredo's one was different. His eye was shut, right? I understand that, but I was still quite surprised that they allowed him with like he literally had two extra mouths on his face, you know.
His eyebrow was
um,
open. His eye, I mean, I don't even think the commentators were saying that. I didn't realize how bad it was until they saw it when he was lining up for when he was standing up for the next round. It was,
uh,
he's a beast though, man. He's a beast. That's what I'm saying, man. Just grit, you know. But yeah,
that
man.
was
Well, look, we got, what have we got? We got a next fight next week.
oh Sage Northcutt set for a comeback after 4 years of being out.
Yeah,
Speaking of the
because
devil.
damn, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe
Uh,
hopefully he's been working, obviously, he obviously has been working for the last 4 years on technique and everything. Yeah, next week we got
yeah.
Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. So just another
Ah,
fight night. Who else is on that card? You got Da Young Jung versus Devin Clark. You
oh,
got Du Ho Chao, Du Ho Choi versus Carl Nelson. Remember Du Ho Choi had that epic fight against Cub Swanson?
uh, yeah. Did Cub win?
Cub won, but there was a back and forth battle.
I think I remember that fight. And yeah, did they drop each other?
I can't. I mean, I think they did, but they just went back and forth.
I know
There's a
his
lot
face
of.
though.
Do you know what?
He's
Next week's
Korean.
card. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a killer.
Next
What were you
week's
saying?
card is
Yeah,
there's a
he's
lot of
pretty dope.
Korean and Japanese fighters. I mean, where they're fighting? They're fighting in the US, right? Yeah, Vegas. There's a lot of Korean and Japanese
Really?
fighters, especially in the
Oh
prelims
yeah,
and
I
stuff.
see. Lee
Or
Jeong
Asian
Yong,
fighters, should I say?
Lee
China as well.
Hoshiyumi against Kazama, Rinya Nakamura. Yeah, you're right. It is. Wow. Huh.
Interesting.
Park Jun Young. Yeah, okay. You gonna be watching it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, it's they show it early here. So what I do is I let the fights. I give it a couple of hours and then I can watch it on Fight Pass, basically. and let it just, once it's uploaded in Fight Pass, I watch it there. But yeah, I'll watch it. We'll catch up next week and talk about it, I guess.
Definitely. Wait, isn't it the week after?
Huh? What am I seeing? Am I seeing it wrong?
I think.
Oh, Feb 5th. Yes, you're right. You're right. Week after.
Yeah, it's the week after. Yeah. So I think this week we got nothing.
All right. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out. I mean, let's try and catch up anyway. I'm sure some news will come up, so we can just catch up and talk anyway.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
For
Well,
sure.
look,
For sure.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, listen, we had a good conversation about some fights. As usual, listeners, please appreciate your time, appreciate you listening. Please subscribe, dislike, comment, whatever you want to say. Please go for it. Bro, thank you again for your time. Always appreciate it. Always enjoy these conversations about fights. And then we'll catch you on the next one, man, which will be next week, I hope.
Next week, indeed.
All right. Peace, everyone. Right. Let's turn this off. Hey, why is this turned off?